Good morning. Happy Saturday. My God, am I glad that it's Saturday. I have been looking forward to Saturday now for quite some time. I guess maybe 20-30 minutes ago or whatever, finished watching a premiere from Dairy Queen, Granite State Transparency, for those of you who aren't familiar with the nickname. But in Dairy Queen's video, the part that I saw was a woman, a seemingly reasonable woman who's apparently an employee of the city, going through the parking lot, writing down license plates. And that pissed the hell out of Dairy Queen. Oh, mad. Mad like the little doughboy himself, the little mini-me to D-Cup Jones, patty cakes. She was mad. This lady didn't even have a camera and it still made Granite mad. Jesus Christ. I can't tell you the number of videos that I've seen of auditards filming license plates of people who they assume are employees because they're coming out of a state parking lot or a city parking lot, but doing frequent work with the city and the state. I come out of city and county facilities all the time, and I am a private citizen. So if I come out of them, then I'm sure other private citizens come out of them as well. And I have heard nothing but, you can't trespass the eyes. I was where I was legally allowed to be. Brr! It's not illegal. Your offense doesn't make it illegal. And those are actually valid arguments. You have every right to do it. But if you're getting mad when someone's doing it to you, then maybe you should be empathetic towards those people and understand that you're making them mad by doing it to them. So yes, hypocrisy at its finest. It runs deep in this community. I think there are two kinds of people in this community, and I'm painting with very broad brush strokes. Number one, or at least of the non-auditors, I'm not talking about auditors right now. I think there's those people who see what they believe is an injustice. They come in, they see an injustice, it's in their recommended feed or whatever, and they're like, oh my God. And then they see more and more. But these are the sane people. These are the well-adjusted people. These are the normally intelligent people. And very quickly they see that 99% of these, it's the auditor being an asshole. And it's the cop being the good guy. And then they second guess the one that they saw, and they're like, well, was in the part that I didn't see, was the auditor being an asshole? Did the auditor do something wrong in the parts that he's not showing us? Because, I mean, auditors edit their shit all the time, constantly. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows? And those people get disenfranchised and leave, or they start becoming the trolls. They ask a question, they get blocked. Oh, silence, timeout. That pisses them off. Now you made an enemy, and they're gonna be the thorn in your side. That's the one kind of person. The other kind of person is the person who hates the cops, and they're looking to justify their hatred for the cops, and they gravitate towards this community. And you get a lot of sovereign citizens. You get a lot of people with extensive criminal records who didn't do nothing, obviously. Well, except they did. But, you know, they wouldn't have been convicted on it if they had been able to afford someone better than the public defender. So, yeah, they did it. They just shouldn't have been convicted on it. And now they're going to get it expunged, or sealed, which means that they didn't actually do it in the first place, if that logic makes sense to you. So that's the second kind of people that's attracted to this community. And that's why you see things like Van Balen's latest video comparing auditors, or specifically 3 auditards, being Library, patty cakes, and Ginger Koresh, the fucking cult leader himself, James Springer. They're featured prominently in there. It also exposes a lie by Library. Library says he didn't bring up the 76 rounds of ammunition. It was Patty Cakes. And Patty Cakes in the video clearly says, oh, he's got 4 magazines with him. And Library proudly states 76 rounds of ammunition because he's fucking retarded. But yes, the public is against you. All the auditards, the public is against you. That's why you have a small cult following, and yes, they are small, and that's it. The wider world hates you. They think you are maladjusted misanthropes who can't function in society. Speaking of not being able to function in society and being a liar, Library has been haunting my Discord. Now everybody's welcome, including Library. Library is free to speak his mind. Library, though, is feeling frustrated that people are responding to him in what he thinks is an emotional matter. Well, here's the issue for Library. Here's what this moron doesn't understand. If I'm reading the room right in the Discord server, everybody in there is pro-gun. I don't know if... I could think of very few people in there who are for gun control. There are a couple. But predominantly everybody in there is pro Second Amendment. Everyone in there is pro First Amendment. Everybody in there is pro free speech. Now, the fun thing about free speech is you have every right to say it, but nobody else has to listen to you. And if your position is that you're an awesome dude with connections to the government and you're getting legislation passed and you're important, when in actuality you're a maladjusted misanthrope who can't function in society, you're a pizza delivery driver, you hang out with sovereign citizens, you brag about how many rounds of ammunition you have on your belt to go auditing a police station, people aren't going to take you seriously. You're a fucking idiot. And if they call you a fucking idiot, it's not an emotional backlash. They're trying to tell you something. I don't know any other way to express to an idiot that he's an idiot other than to tell him point blank, you're an idiot. I don't have to have a polite conversation with you about the shit you want to talk about, because I don't jerk off to gun porn. That's not my thing. You might. It might give you a... Oh, he did answer, by the way, because he's a gun expert. I asked him what he would advise Earl, what caliber he would advise Earl use to be his raping pistol. And right out of the gate, I mean, the man knows his guns. He said 44. News Now Library thinks a 44 is the perfect caliber for a raping pistol. That guy's fucking retarded. Oh. Well, but you asked what caliber would be the best. Yeah, but you can say, you know what? There is no good caliber for a raping pistol. You don't want to rape with people, period. With or without a pistol. You could have said that if you were smart. Because yes, it was a trap. It was a baited question. And you were too dumb to see it. Which is why I keep saying you're a retard. Going back to the lie. He does lie and contradict himself quite often. What is easily provable is when he said that he didn't bring up the 76 rounds. And there it is on the video, bringing up 76 rounds. Also, he says that he always carries that. It's for self-defense. And he normally carries it concealed. But that day he carried it in the open. He carried it in the open to go audit a police station. If that wasn't hunting for trouble, I don't know what is. He's looking for it. He's baiting them. 76 rounds of ammunition to go film a police station. It's for self-defense. Either you're the world's worst shot or it's not for self-defense. And why do you need a pistol on you for self-defense at a police station? Either you think you are going to defend yourself against the police, which is illegal, so don't. And even if you survive, you will get felony time for shooting at police officers, that they don't take that very, nobody wants you to shoot at the cops. Or you think that the cops are so incompetent that you could get, I don't know, you would need to defend yourself against the public at a police station, which is again absurd. That's why you're a retard, Library, because you can't think logically. You lack the ability. There's a reason why the NRA doesn't engage in the kind of antics that these fucked up local organizations do. It's because the public reacts negatively to it. The public doesn't like to see people marching around with weapons that look like military style weapons, confronting the police and being dicks about it. Believe it or not, the public doesn't like that. You know, when the police are saying we're getting calls, you know who that's from? The public. And it doesn't, the public, their fears aren't allayed by whatever videos you're making, because they're not in your little cult. They see a bunch of armed men and look at you guys. I mean, just seriously, look at you guys. You don't look reputable. I'm sorry to say, but you don't look reputable. I mean, look at Library. He has that rat tail, for fuck's sake. He's got that little rat tail on the back of his head. What adult man in 2019 has a rat tail? I remember rat tails. They were, you know, the hood rats used to have them back in the late 80s, I think. Rat tails were big in the late 80s. It was a terrible style choice then. It is an even worse style choice now. But look at you. Look at the people you surround yourself with. For fuck's sake. So there is no need on the part of everyone else to listen to you, especially if you're just babbling the same bullshit. We don't have to sit back and let you talk. Free speech not only means that you get to say your piece, but we get to say ours. And I am certainly not ashamed to speak my piece. And pause to consider before you lump everybody in there as being just merbites. Pause to consider that less than a month ago, Maddie was willing to pay $10,000 to twist me into a pretzel in an MMA match. That's not a merbite. But when she actually got there and got calm, she realized that I am a reasonable man and I will respond based on what you're giving me. And she doesn't give me bullshit. If she does give me bullshit and I reason with her, she accepts the reasoning. And she's not retarded, which really helps. I mean, that goes a long way to making it in my Discord server. If you're a liar or a retard, you're going to have problems because the people in there are wary of liars and retards. So, speaking of which, I think a color change is in order for Library. Note to self. So I think I've made it clear. I hope I've made it clear. Everybody's welcome in there. I don't control what other people say. There are people who have wide differences between who I am and what I'm about and who they are and what they're about. But that's fine as long as you're reasonable and not a retard. We'll probably get along, and don't lie to me. And we'll get along famously. You know, the funny thing is that I've argued liberal positions. I've argued conservative positions. I've taken the pro-gun control side. I've taken the anti-gun control side. I've taken the pro-free speech side. I've taken the anti-free speech side. I'll take whatever side you want. And if I'm willing to take whatever side to engage you in discussion, then apparently I'm not trying to merely make your mind up to believe my position, because I'm willing to argue all of them if there is any merit to them at all that I could find. And there you go. Speaking of which, speaking of lacking merit, I did spend the day finding cases proving to Truth for Liberty wrong. His claim that Next Friend isn't a probate issue or an estates issue in Texas. It used to be in the probate code, but they rolled the probate code over into the estates code, so there you go. I presented case law saying that he's wrong, and there you go. Next Friends are appointed in the same way guardians are, and there you go. And guardians are dealt with in their estates code now. It used to be their probate code. And yeah, I also smashed, using cases, his notion that the next friend can actually act as an attorney, essentially an attorney ad litem. He can't. Case law is very specific in Texas. The Texas Business and Professions Code does prevent the unauthorized practice of law, even for next friends. Case law is very specific about that. They have adjudicated it. It's done. And to date, To Truth for Liberty has presented absolutely nothing, zero cases that hold that the 7th Amendment guarantees you a right to an attorney. It does not. And there's also a lot more problems with it, is that the 7th Amendment doesn't apply to the states. So, woo! Even if it did work, it would only work in a federal court. And it doesn't work. So there you go. He has desperately tried to pass off dicta from 6th Amendment, 7th Amendment, or 6th Amendment, 2nd Amendment, and apparently a 1st Amendment case that I must have missed. But he seems to think he made one. It is going to be dicta. Each amendment, each right is handled differently. There's a different test, even in the First Amendment. There's a different test for liberties, for religious liberties, than there is for free speech. Different tests. There are different tests between the First Amendment tests and the 6th Amendment tests. There are different tests between the 2nd Amendment and the 6th Amendment. There's just different tests. Therefore, the 7th Amendment, if he does find some case law that is going to actually say that there's an attorney, you're allowed an attorney under the 7th Amendment, then it will use its own test. And I don't know what it's going to be. Is it going to be a reasonability test? Is it, I don't know, due process test? Who knows? Who knows? But there isn't one, and he thinks that he doesn't have to provide one because he's a sovereign citizen. And that's really all I have to say about that. Anyway, my nose is leaking, so I'm going to blow it, but I'm going to do a snot rocket off camera. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful Saturday. I hope your Saturday is going as good as mine.